It was a tough weekend. The Red Wings dropped a game where they had a 2-1 lead to the Boston Bruins, and that pushed them to the final wildcard spot. The New York Islanders win a game and push Detroit to the outside altogether. This is tough to watch because it looks like the March meltdown is in full effect with just 12 games left and Detroit's on the outside looking in. Let's take a look at it. This is your 7-Minute Wings. Welcome back to the Red Wings Report with Strings and Pucks. This is Jeremy Laura. If you haven't yet, please click like and subscribe and share this out. Thank you so much for a year where we got to grow this channel. It's been really exciting. Just about the 1-year anniversary of the Red Wings Report channel, and I'm so grateful for how much it's grown. So this weekend, the Grand Rapids Griffins dropped 2 of 3. Detroit drops a major contest against the Bruins, and the difference, Grand Rapids is essentially a lock to win their division. Their postseason's not on the line. For Detroit, their postseason is very much on the line. In the last video, I talked about Detroit still being in charge of their own destiny. But you're getting awful close because Ottawa's just 3 points behind, and you have one of those magical 4-point games coming up against the Senators. You're now in a position where the Islanders and the Blue Jackets are battling for the wild card spot. The Metropolitan Division, and I talked about this from the beginning of the year, they were on the outside looking in last year. They did not grab a single wild card spot. They do not want to see that happen again. But those two teams aren't going away. The Red Wings are in this battle with Montreal, Boston, and Ottawa in the Atlantic, and then throw in Columbus and the Islanders. And with only 12 games left, that's pretty much the final characters. People are starting to drop off at this point. You had the Panthers fall off. You had the Maple Leafs fall off. This is Detroit's best shot in the rebuild to get into the playoffs. A couple years ago, they almost got in with 91 points. This year, it could take 98, 99, even 100 points. So if we're looking at 2 years ago when the team almost got in and missed on the last day, if they were performing at this pace, they'd pretty much be a lock to make the playoffs 2 years ago. They're probably on pace for 94, 95 points. But this year, that's not going to get it done. This year, they're going to have to try to get as close to 100 points as possible. Injuries have taken the toll, but you're going to be hard-pressed to pull away from the March meltdown narrative. I've talked about it. I did multiple videos around the break talking about Detroit's history in March and the things they'd have to do, and the potential of injuries after the Olympics. When the Olympics ended and Larkin and Raymond and Seider all looked healthy and came back, you're thinking, great. This is the best possible scenario. Larkin's walking on air. Seider, he's getting a lot of praise as a defenseman. And Raymond, Raymond made history for Team Sweden. This was supposed to be an ideal scenario when they got back. But another cross-check to Dylan Larkin, another spinal injury, another time the league really doesn't do a thing about it. And you go year after year with this. Jamie Benn breaks Dylan Larkin's neck. The league does nothing. Larkin takes a nasty shot in Ottawa. He's laying unconscious on the ice. The league does nothing about it. And once again, Larkin gets laid out with a nasty hit to the spine. The league does nothing about it. Detroit almost needs to upgrade the center position just as insurance because the rest of the league seems to understand you can injure Dylan Larkin and the league's not going to do anything about it. I usually don't say something that harsh, and I apologize if I've offended anyone at this point, but it's true. Especially that Jamie Benn hit. That's inexcusable that the league didn't step in and do anything. And now you've got a chronic injury that year after year players are going to go after, especially when it's go time. 12 games left, guys. 12 games left. Detroit has to prove they can do it. Larkin's getting close to a return, but this game against Ottawa, As badly as Ottawa wants to make the playoffs, a close second place would be keeping Detroit from getting there. You do not want to see a year where the Red Wings make the playoffs and you don't if you're in this division. You don't want to be Toronto, Florida, and Ottawa all on the outside watching Detroit get in. The Red Wings, they need to grow up fast. Simon Edvinsson's mistake in the last game cost them. He's a young defenseman. Those are the mistakes that happen. Hockey is a game of mistakes, absolutely, and it's a team sport 100%. But this team needs to punch above their weight. Maybe it's time to get Axel Sandin Pellikka back on the ice. Stop making him a healthy scratch. I don't know if that's the answer or not. But right now that lineup is hurting. They do not have the experience. They certainly don't have the grit. And they need to figure it out quickly. Guys like Perron are pushing as hard as they can, but this is a very young roster and almost no playoff experience. So seeing the standings today with Detroit on the outside looking in, it feels like the March meltdown is in full effect again. Injuries have taken their toll, absolutely, but this is that time of year. You earned the opportunity to be in this spot, to still be contending for a playoff spot. Now you have to make it count. And with 12 games left and a game against Ottawa, every second counts. You've already let games against Florida and Boston slip out of hand, games you needed to have taken. Your captain is injured. No one is standing up for each other on this team. All of that has to change in just 12 games. And honestly, it needs to have changed about a month ago. This team needs to stand up for each other, make life miserable for goaltenders, and make life miserable for the opposition. But so far, they just haven't been able to click in and do that. We're going to find out tomorrow because it's a huge gut check as they face off against Ottawa. A regulation loss against the Senators may put the postseason all but out of reach. So it's game by game, one at a time, and we'll see if they can pull it together. This was your 7-Minute Wings.